Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Santiago AQ over here, and today I'm gonna break down for you guys the top 3 biggest tips I have regarding waking up early in the morning, waking up at least for me at 4:30 a.m. and not die trying. So let's get to it. Okay, my first tip, and probably my biggest tip to be honest, is that the key to wake up early is to break momentum, is to realize that momentum is your enemy and you have to break it if you want to be successful. The reason I'm saying this is that I do think that our minds are wired to love what they're actually doing at the moment. So, and that's almost regardless of the activity it happens to be. So for example, we love to keep procrastinating once we're procrastinating. We love to keep sleeping once we're asleep. We even find it easier to keep working once we're already doing the work. So continuing to do stuff is easy. The hard part is really to start. And I do think that this is really the main reason for why people aren't successful when they're trying to wake up earlier. Because rather than breaking up momentum, they're just feeding the beast. They're just stretching that momentum and thus making conscious everything that feels good about sleeping. So they tell themselves stuff like, oh, I'm just gonna rest for 15 more minutes. Well, you see, in those 15 more minutes, everything you're doing is just giving yourself all of the arguments for why staying in bed is such a good thing, why the pillow feels so good, why the blankets feel so nice, why is going back to sleep, it's just like the best thing you could have at the moment. And thus, well, no wonder you fail at waking up and you end up sleeping for 2 more hours. You're just making it harder than it needs to be. And I tend to see this one like giving alcohol to an alcoholic. Like, you know damn well that when someone who has problems with alcohol comes up to you and says, I'm just gonna drink 1 shot, it's almost never just 1 shot. That 1 shot is just the initial arguments that the person needs to keep drinking. You're doing the exact same thing with sleeping. Once you wake up and decide, no, I'm just gonna go back for 15 more minutes, those 15 more minutes are just gonna make the last kick your mind needs to get you to stay in bed. If you really want to wake up, you have to develop what I like to call a 1-shot type of mentality. You either wake up or you don't. There's no middle ground. There's no 15 more minutes. Everything in between, everything that kind of eases your way into waking up, everything that kind of gives you 15 more minutes, just a taste of this sleeping thing for 5 more minutes, all of that, it's just going to result in you going back to sleep. Additionally, do you really think that those 15 minutes are gonna make up for what 7 hours didn't? Like, that's not how sleep works, my friend. So I developed this 1-shot type of mentality in which every time I waked up, I said to myself, okay, you have only 1 shot. Like, if you go back to bed, you lose. If you put another alarm, you lose. If you say to yourself 5 more minutes, you lose. I sound like the guy from Parks and Recreation, right?
You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, you ride to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail.
Okay, but anyways, I developed this 1-shot type of mentality and it really worked like a charm. If you can get away one advice from this whole video, let this one be it. If you equate in your mind prolonging momentum with failing to wake up, believe me, you're gonna see some results. And I know it probably sounds silly, like, I mean, come on, of course going back to bed is a poor strategy to wake up. But most people don't act like it was. Most people actually act like 15 minutes are actually just 15 minutes. Like 1 shot is actually just 1 shot. So take that into account. And additionally, do things that help you break that momentum for good. For example, don't just ease your way into waking up. Just get up and go take a shower. Or get up and put on your AirPods and start listening to music. Or get up and start eating breakfast. Or get up and start replying to messages. Or go do some exercise. Or just do anything that breaks momentum for good. Okay, for my second tip, I stole a famous quote by Richard Feynman, which basically says the first principle, well, the second in my case, but anyways, the first principle is that you should not fool yourself. And you are the easiest person to fool. And he hits the nail with this one, because I do think that a lot of people tell themselves a bunch of lies when trying to wake up. So they tell themselves stuff like, oh, I must feel this way because I'm sleep deprived, so I should go back to bed. Or, oh, this is my body's way of telling me he needs more sleep. Bullshit. You feel that way because your body just loves the endorphins it gets by going back to sleep. So you seek that like a junkie. Additionally, well, your feelings are not that reliable. And if you don't trust me, well, just do the experiment. Try oversleeping. Just wake up naturally, wake up when your body just wants to wake up, and then force yourself to go back to bed. Sleep 3 more hours. You'll see that the second time you wake up, you feel even more tired than the first one, even though you slept 4 hours longer than you should. So that goes to show you that your feelings are not a reliable proof of your sleep status. And I want to be clear, like sometimes you actually may be sleep deprived. Sometimes you actually need more sleep. Sometimes you have a disease that's affecting the quality of your sleep. Like all of those situations are possible. But most of the times, that's not the case. Most of the times you just go back to bed because you love going back to bed. It happens like with food. Most of the times we don't eat because, oh my god, if we don't eat right now, we're gonna starve to death and our body's gonna start catabolizing all of these proteins. Like most times that's not the case. Most times we just eat because we love eating. Also, I'm not saying that you should never try to auto-regulate. I do believe that sometimes our bodies feel like they need a little bit more sleep, and that's okay. But I do believe that the decision to get more sleep should be done before going to sleep, not after. Because as we have established, your partial encephalopathic sleep junkie brain who just wake up is probably the less reliable source to decide that. So whenever I feel, for example, I'm too tired, I have had a hell of a week, I'm very stressed out, and I say, okay, I need a little bit more sleep, I made a decision before. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not gonna wake up at 4:30, I'm gonna wake up at 5, at 6, but I made a decision earlier, and I just trust that decision once I wake up. Okay, and my last advice is to make it easier for you by setting your natural sleeping cycle close to your goal. And this is where a lot of myths pop up, like, oh, if you want to wake up at 4:30 a.m. without feeling like shit, you have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. No, you don't. I don't for sure. Like, it's just not practical. Like, why the hell would I want to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every single day? Like, even the weekends, I have no reason to do that. But what I typically do is just set up my natural sleeping cycle at around 6:30, 7, so that whenever I need to wake up a little bit earlier, like 4:30, it's not such a hustle. But if my natural sleeping cycle would have me waking up at 10 a.m., man, I'd be in problem. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Be practical. I'm not gonna say that you have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every single day to wake up at 4:30 a.m. on some days. No one's gonna do that. So you have to, I'm very pragmatical about this. I tell you, okay, maybe not at 4:30, but try waking up at 6, 6:30, 7. You'll find that if you can push yourself to wake up a little bit earlier every day, waking up a whole lot earlier some days is gonna be quite easier. But anyways, that's really all I have regarding waking up earlier. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. If you want to stay tuned for more content, just subscribe and click the bell. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.